Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a pretty amazing presentation for you. Without further ado, we're going to begin. And if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A or the chat box. We will look at those questions and answer as we go. Or after the presentation, we will have some time for Q&A. Without further ado, I'm going to move forward. My name is Dr. Ludmi Hera. I'm the director for the international programs at University of Houston, Victoria. I actually started my journey in studying in the United States, just like you guys. F1, pretty young, started my research. Of course, we didn't have virtual fairs. So I do understand how it is to be an international student, go away for a long time, leave your families behind, start a program, researching a program, finding funding, scholarships, and being nervous. On top of it, we are in a pandemic. So this is why the three of us joined together to talk about being a student in the United States during a pandemic. With that, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Lentz.
Thanks, Ludmi. So my name is Dr. Katie Lentz. I have been with international admissions for about 5 years. I was not an international student like Ludmi. I'm very much, U.S. citizen raised by military parents, but I have a calling for working with the international students, and I've loved it. A lot of the students have named me Mama Katie, and I will take that every day of the week. I am a mother to a college student right now and a host mom to one that lives with me and about 20 that have adopted me that live on campus. And I absolutely love it. I love the travel. I love the culture. I love the food around the world, just absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait to get on the road again, but we're happy to be here with you virtually. So Aaron, we're going to hand it on over to you.
Thank you. I'm Aaron Wilbarger. I work at Oklahoma City University. I had the pleasure of getting involved with internationals kind of more at the admission stage. I did study abroad quite a bit, a few stints when I was in college. Enjoyed it, loved the experience. I think that's what kind of drove me towards working with international students. It's always exciting to get involved and to see an international student arrive to the US and then ultimately leave or possibly leave the country or get their degrees. So that's always a great time. And I've been able to work in higher education for quite a while now. And so that's always been a great experience to get to interact with you guys. Hopefully we'll continue that. Thanks.
Okay, so we're here today to help you, to help you to do the research and find your best fit. All three of us are here from 3 different institutions, and we want to help you find your unique fit. We know all students are very unique with very unique needs and your wants and expectations. So we don't want you to follow your friends or your senior friends or your neighbors. We want you to do your research, talk to people, come to the booths. We have an amazing fair going on. And after the session, you can, connect with us through the booths in the fair as well. US, I always tell students, is an amazing destination. Like I said, I was an international student. I actually picked the United States from all the other countries. And I'm sure at some point you're doing that too. Should I go to Australia, England, Canada, New Zealand? And I had those same things too. And I ended up doing my research and found the United States is the best destination. And there's over 4,500 institutions in the US, and there is your fit. So we're here today collaborating to help you to find your fit in finding your destination university.
Great.
So we have actually a poll. If you guys can take this poll.
Sorry. Popped up
I
right
love that.
there.
Hey, it's Friday afternoon for us.
It is. So Paul, I want to attend a university in a big city, a famous city, a small city, a city that feels like a community, somewhere close to extended family, somewhere I've never been. I'm gonna see if I could go back in time. Little side note, I would love to study abroad like Erin did. I think that would just be amazing and an adventure, and just saying, I did a semester here. I see I'm living vicariously through the students who do their study abroads in Paris and everywhere. I'm just, wow, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have studied somewhere I've never been. So I would choose somewhere I've never been.
Oh, wow, it's interesting. Nobody picked small city. Okay.
So looks like
We're
we're
in the poll.
Okay, I'm gonna end the poll. Okay.
Ta-da.
somewhere close to extended family. Nice.
Oh.
Do with that.
Katie? Okay.
Okay, so what are we going to cover today? We're going to talk about what our students are saying about COVID-19. What are they talking about? How are they adapting to it? What's going to be important for you when you study in the US and how to prepare for that. We're going to talk about researching, choosing, and transferring between institutions and your majors and all that involves. It's a major choice. It's a major choice. It's a major, discovering what you're going to do. We talked about purpose, figuring out where you're going to go. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to discuss your scholarships and funding opportunities and what happens when you change your mind and you want to change either your major or your university. And then some do's and don'ts. We're going to give you some tips for the road. So
let's go for another poll.
Okay. There we go.
So my dream job office would involve, what do you want? A big desk and many windows, lots of travel, a small space where I can work on my own. Are you not really a people person? An open concept room to work with the team. I was in an office building and literally the whole floor was nothing but tables and chairs. There were no walls except for the outside exterior walls. I'm not quite sure I could work like that. That would be really noisy for me. A computer with at least 3 screens. Definitely you techie. Oh, Erin's the techie person.
Yeah.
Flexible hours and working from home. I think we've all gotten used to that. Or somewhere where I can appreciate my hard work. Yeah, so pick as many, multiple choice. Pick what's most important to you. Erin, what would you pick?
I so desperately, when I was a college student, wanted a big office with windows and, so I wanted a big desk and many windows.
Big desk. A big desk requires a lot of work.
Yeah. I now want a small space.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Libby, what about you? What would your college self have picked?
Actually, I have to agree with Erin too. I wanted a nice office with the windows and, being in the field for 20 years. Now I want, a small office, maybe a window, but if I can travel,
Yeah, that's what mine would have been. My college self, I think, would have picked lots of travel. Anything to get me out of any size office they wanted to put me in. Just put me out on the road.
So it's interesting. The first place, 69%, lots of travel. Second, with 46%, is appreciation for my hard work. Makes sense. Then 31%, big desk and many windows, I guess.
Yep.
I'm gonna end the poll, and then Erin, take COVID-19.
Okay.
So I guess next slide.
So COVID-19, I should hope everybody has heard about this by now. If not, you will definitely when you arrive to the United States. So universities are taking a lot of precautions for their students in prepping them and taking measures to help students cope with this COVID-19 situation. And so all three of our universities do a lot of things to protect the students as best as possible. But with COVID-19, different things have happened. Our admission status, the way we admit students has changed. Our student services, and you'll see a lot of things there that involved with the student services. On-campus housing and dining, the way we eat now is different. You know, you have to wear a mask, and not actually while you're eating, but when you take it off, you eat, you throw the mask back on. It's a lot of measures that have come in place. And so you'll see the way we do our health insurance, also the plans that the universities offer. You will notice that most universities do offer a health insurance policy and plan, and normally that's incorporated within like your tuition when you're paying for everything. But those policies are changing to cope with COVID-19. On-campus employment, we were just kind of talking about this, that for the past year, some of us have not even been on campus, and some of us have been halfway on campus. So many parts of campus has been closed off. And so there's different things that kind of go involved that we are adjusting. Hopefully that most of us, most universities are transitioning back to what it used to be. But there will always, probably from this point on, always be in place standards for any sort of COVID-19 type situation. Student services is also coming quite involved with this. Obviously, if you're looking at financial issues, when you're talking about financial aid and scholarships, student engagement. So when we're looking at students' interactions with events, we are also talking about this. Many universities have limits on the amount of students, and some universities don't have limits on the amount of students. But that can gather in one particular group. So this is just kind of giving you an example of what universities are doing, strategizing to adapt to this COVID-19 situation and to help you as you're coming to the United States and you're coming to your particular school. You guys can chime in on this one.
And I do want to add to what Erin said too, is, you know, a lot of institutions actually have created these amazing ways to assist students virtually and face-to-face. And I do not believe the virtual platform will go away because we're already thinking about implementing all these virtual platforms in assisting students with services. And being a centralized office, all things international, we actually have seen more students coming through our virtual lobbies than face-to-face visits back in the day. So you will hear from all of us about how we have adapted to COVID-19. And we're actually talking about international students getting the vaccines that's coming up. So these are amazing services that, you know, all universities in the US are implementing or have implemented. So that's from my end.
Yeah, I would say my bit of information, and I will add, just make sure you check with your university because they're all going to be different. We just found out even between the three of our universities, we're quite different. And so you just need to research and say, what are you doing? I'm nervous about this. What are you doing and what's changed and how can I find out more?
So next slide is about adapting to COVID-19. I'm just going to touch briefly because I think all of us just, you know, connected. And just like Katie said, every universities are very unique and they're going to have very unique services and programming events. And some of the things to think about if you're somebody who's concerned about health, there's so many ways that the universities are providing health services, wellness centers, telemedicine, telecounseling. I know at our institution, and so is all others like ORU and OCU too, providing funding. We've provided emergency fundings, loans to students, meal delivery during COVID quarantine time. I was really impressed to see how universities have adapted the meal delivery for those students who were placed under quarantine. So these are just, few things, because it's going to take us all night to talk about what kind of services we're offering. But just do the research and find out how unique events and programming there is at your each respective campuses.
So I can talk to the fundings and scholarships. Every university is going to offer you an opportunity for funding, all kinds of funding. You just have to ask about it. Say, what are you offering for funding? You need to make sure that when you do talk to them about a type of funding or a scholarship, to ask if it's renewable and what do I need to do? How do I keep it? So that's going to be really important. So opportunities on campus employment that Erin talked about, get your campus job. How the tuition is going to be for in-state or out-of-state tuition waivers. I will say for ORU, our tuition is going to be the same. So I'll let you guys tell it for yours. ORU is going to be the same no matter if you're in Tulsa, if you're in Taiwan, our tuition is the same. We do offer scholarships for our international students. Definitely apply early, because some scholarships will close out. A lot of the scholarships that are going to be offered, usually by March. Those scholarships are usually closed. Types of funding, merit-based, and that's going to be based upon your grades coming in. Athletic funding, for ORU, we're Division I, so we don't talk anything athletic funding. That has to all go through the coaches. So let the other reps talk for those. Research and teaching, these are going to be if you can get that job on campus, being that teaching assistant or that research assistant. Same for the graduate levels for that. And then the grant funding. All scholarship criteria is going to be different. So please make sure you check with your admissions rep to say, what do I need to do? What essay do I need to write? What grades do I need to have? How do I apply? Where do I get it? Ask all the questions. So I'd be curious, especially if you for Erin, what do you guys do for tuition and athletics for that?
So at OCU, we athletics, you go through the athletic department. We have our academic scholarships, and we have some what we call talent scholarships. And I can go into this when we go into our little spill here of the university. But yeah, so I just encourage students to always ask for money. I always say, take advantage of us. It sounds odd, but take advantage of us. Ask for a scholarship, because there's many times that there may be an allocated amount of scholarships available, but not all have been offered or have been picked up on. So,
and the worst we'll tell you is no.
Yeah.
And for me to add to that from UHV is our international office is a comprehensive center. So a lot of things comes, 99% of the items comes through our office. So even though you do secure athletic funding, we're the ones that is notifying and doing everything for you, but we do work with the coaches and the athletics department. And we do offer a lot of GATA, graduate teaching assistantships, and I will go to explain more during the university. Little brief introductions, grant funding, and just like the others mentioned, ask. Sometimes universities, you may even not know where to look for these. There are specific websites like financial aid or scholarships, grants and graduate information would be in a graduate departments. So just ask what kind of funding, and like Erin mentioned, applying early. Early is a key word here. If you want funding, apply early, because or some universities don't have a lot of funding to give to everybody. So it could be from first come, first serve. So there's so much criteria. Erin.
So your tip number one in your funding and your scholarships, look for the scholarships or the discounted tuition. How to go about it, like Lumina was saying, how to look for it, any of the merit scholarships, etc. Governmental scholarships, the Fulbright Commission, definitely do your research on that, because they offer scholarships in many different fields. Your country, your Ministry of Education website could have some information on it as well. So definitely check your country-based scholarship, and then your discounted tuition, because it could be discounted for a type of program, you know, where your country you're from, etc. Tip 2, determine which school is best. This is going to be really big. You saw on a couple of the other slides about picking the best fit for you. It's not just about the scholarships. It's going to be about, where do I belong? Where's home for me? Because you're going to be there, you know, for 4 years. So you need to figure out what school is going to be best for you. Positives and negatives, cost of living in that area, and what's going to help prepare me. Because honestly, this is only 4 years. So it's about what's at the end of this. What do I get out of this? What's the final project going to be? The career. And then for the transfer students, to maximize your credit transfers to the US. We can help you with that as well.
So let's go with another poll question. Oh, interesting. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Erin.
I love this one. I plan to attend school for how many years? Now, if you want to be a doctor, please do not click on 2, 4, or 6 years. If you want to be a lawyer, please do not click on 2 or 4 years. Most of those programs, those pre-professional programs, is going to be at least 4 years. Because it's like law, you know, for lawyers, it's 4 years, bachelor's, 3-year law school. Doctors, 4-year bachelor, 3-year med school, 2 or 3 year fellowship, 2 or 3 year internship, probably more, possibly more schooling. So I'm always pretty curious about this, about how much time are you willing to commit to your education for your career? Remember, this is for the rest of your life. You're saying, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to invest this time. So when I'm old and gray and I have grandkids of my own, I can say I went to school for 14 years and that's why I have this fabulous doctor job.
So if we end the poll, 40%, 6 years. So bachelor's and a master's most likely. And we have few 10-year, 8 years, and 12 years.
Wow, impressive, impressive.
Okay, let me go to the next slide. I think
That poll has to be. All right, Erin, you want to go over the next 2 tips?
Sure. Okay. Still concentrating on funding and scholarship, right? Yeah. Compare your programs towards other schools. Now, this has always been something I hear all the time, like, well, my cousin went to this school and it was really great, or something of that nature, or I had a friend that went to this school. And it may be great, but it may not be your fit. It may not be what you're kind of looking for. One school may have an outstanding engineering program, but they may not have a good liberal arts studies type programs, and vice versa. So it's always good to look at your school to figure out what you're wanting. So rankings can be important. Do understand that there's a ranking for every little thing, you know, about schools. So programs have rankings, the overall schools have rankings, private schools, public schools, they all have their individual rankings, regional rankings. So do make sure what you're looking at as far as ranking actually equates. But rankings can be important. We understand that. Internships during, possibly while you're going through your program, like maybe towards your senior year, you do some internship. Some programs have internships embedded within the programs, so it's incorporated. But mostly also when you're looking at afterwards, internships is always, you know, many students will always indicate that internships is very, very important for them once they graduate or while they're going through their study. And this goes along with the job placement after your graduation. It's important that we feel, and I'm assuming with most of us here, that placing our graduates to become alumni in jobs, especially for our international population, is important. We want you guys to be successful, not only get a degree, but hopefully you'll have some work experience afterwards. The quality of teaching. This goes, you're going to have your good professors. You'll probably have some kind of professors you're like, I don't know about you. But there's always an opportunity for you to kind of check things out. There's ratings for professors, ratemyprofessor.com if you really want to check that out. But the quality of teaching, obviously you want to be taught by good, probably PhD professors or that are in the top of their game in that particular field of study. And then the time spent getting a degree. We just took a poll over the, how long do you want to be? For some students, obviously you're looking 4 to 6 years, which is about right if you're at the undergraduate level that you're wanting to get in and get out. And so it's important that a university kind of moves you along as long as you're getting the grades to do that. Tip number 4, your part-time job on campus. Now, this is important for you guys to understand that in the United States, which is different than a lot of other countries, in the United States, while you're going through your program, can only work technically on campus. Afterwards, you get this opportunity, a great opportunity for you to do an internship once you graduated for a certain period of time. But while you're getting your degree, you must work on campus. So that could become important for you. That gives you a little spending money or gives you an idea of work experience in some degrees. So many departments hire students. So that's something for you to look at, or maybe a scholarship while you're doing your work, or grants or paid internships, graduate assistants, teaching, stuff of that nature.
Okay. The next slide is researching, choosing, and transferring between institutions. So as we mentioned, there's over 4,500 institutions in the US, and these institutions can be community colleges, technical, baccalaureate, for-profit, nonprofit, tribal colleges, military institutes, private colleges, public colleges, research, master's degree. So the list goes on. And special focus institutions such as faith-based, law, liberal arts, medical school, engineering schools. So as we're talking to you, you will hear that the same kind of theme that we're saying is how much opportunities and options you have, and just be unique and find your fit. This is why we call our presentation today, Finding Your Fit, Finding Your Destination University, because there's so much opportunities and choices for you to pick from. You just need some time to research and put in a spreadsheet and learn what is what in what universities. And I know we will discuss more. When I was searching for universities as a 16, 17-year-old, cost was number one for me. I had a dollar amount and that I could spend per year, and I looked at all the costs, and after scholarships, that was important to me. So as a student, what is important to you, rank it. And we have more slides to talk, and we will be talking about those kind of things as well. But just know that these are all amazing colleges, and there's varieties of colleges for you to pick from.
Okay, I want to speak to this one because I think this one is super important. What college should I choose versus what college is the best fit for me? Didn't had said earlier that it's, making sure that you're not going necessarily where your friends are going, or, where everybody else is going. If you want to go by extended family, that's fine, but 4,500 different options. So what is the right choice? Is the right choice someone else's choice? Someone else's, like your friends? Just because they're going there doesn't mean you have to go there. We do live in a virtual world. You can literally FaceTime them every day, and it'll be like going to school together. The college with the best marketing, we all do very good marketing. Don't just depend on the best marketing. Oh, we lost Ludmilla again. All right, so US News and World Report of who's going to be able to pick that, because rankings, what Aaron talked about, are going to be important. But one thing that you have to be able to understand is rankings aren't everything, and how they are done are going to be very different. So rankings can be done at the regional level, or at the national level. So if they're at a national level, that's that new US News and World Report, number one pick, like the slide had said, that if it says number one for that, then they're not looking at a regional level. If they can say, like if we look for ORU, did number 5, 5th in the nation for engagement, that means for the world. However, you can look at the regional ones too. So just make sure that you're either regional or the not regional. This is going to be something that's going to be important, because if you're saying, you know, I think it's going to be really important for me to go somewhere that feels like a community, because that one was pretty important in that. If it's going to say, I really want to go where there's extended family, I really want to go something that feels right for me. Yes, it has to offer the major, but it needs to feel right. There needs to be that good fit for you to be able to say, you know what, this feels really comfortable for me. This is definitely where I want to go. This is where I want to, this is what feels like home. So think about that. So for the next, you know, 4 years, this is going to feel like home. It has to feel like home for you. So somewhere you're going to be happy, where you're going to be successful, where you can actually be the best you that you can be. So when we said about cost, I mean, where can I can afford? So right, if you think, you know what, I think I'm going to be my best me at this university that it costs $100,000 a year, I hope you can pay for that $100,000 a year tuition. But if you can be the best you at a place that's $20,000 tuition, then that might be what you can afford. So that's going to be very important as well. So Lumi, thank you for the slides again. We'll go next slide now.
I'm so sorry. We're pouring.
Oh.
We did not even have an ounce of dark cloud, and it's just pouring.
All right. So Aaron, do you have the PowerPoint now? I'll let you change to the next slide.
Well, I did. Okay, hang on.
And
Okay.
if Papa can, yeah, I think Aaron, you should go ahead with the slides, because with this rain, I think I'm going to be in and out. Welcome to Texas.
Right. All right, so we'll go on to how to research and find your destination university. Things that you're going to be looking at are going to be very different for you than they are even for the person sitting next to you, or even for what you're talking to your parents about. Funding, of course, is going to be different. We talked about location, if it's going to be a big campus, a small campus, a big city, a small city. How much does it cost? Do they have the program I want? If you go somewhere just because your friend is going there, but they don't have the program you want, what are you going to do? I mean, just hang out in your dorm room? It's not about that. Make sure that it's safe on campus. Make sure that they're going to be able to help you with job replacement, that your return on your investment is your career. Your help through the application process and securing your US visa, that's going to be done through your admissions rep, like the three of us. We are there to hold your hand through that whole process. We're there to help you as much as possible, be able to figure out everything from the cost of it to the fee waivers. What is it like to live off campus, on campus, student fees? How much can my family afford? We're going to be able to help you through that. And all of that's really important.
Do we want to do a poll?
Sure.
Maybe. Is that seeable?
Yeah, if money was no object, how would you fill your days? It's a multiple choice. So sleeping, researching, traveling, teaching, helping others, building my business, watching TikTok. Good one.
I love these kinds of questions, because it's like, okay, you're thinking about now, but think about what would you do in 5 years? You know, how would you fill your days? I asked this to a student at one point in time, and he said, I'm going to play video games and eat potato chips. So we talked about either like a food science major or, you know, video game design, esports major. Oh, we got a couple business builders in there. Lots of traveling. Look at all you guys helping others.
So nice. Okay, I'm gonna enter. Okay. So helping others, you guys are very thoughtful. Okay. Okay. That moved along. Okay, I can go over this one. How to research, find your destination university. So this is important because obviously, like what we've been mentioning, is that this is your future. This is where you think you will go for success, so you can succeed in life. And so, knowing where you're going is very important. So these are just some things for you to be looking at. Your program, your major. We go back to rankings. You can look at that. Is your program even available? So lots of times you kind of need to know if you're wanting to be an engineer or you're wanting to be an architect, you might go to where they actually do architectural work or engineering programs, stuff like that. Internships, once again, is important. Campus size can come into factor. Some students like really, really big schools. Some students like small schools. If you like that one-on-one attention with your professor, or you don't really care, you're good. Just give me what I need to study and set me on my path, and I'm good. So there's multiple ways to be thinking on that. So large classrooms, small classrooms, there's benefits to both. I think for all of us, we're probably going to emphasize more smaller classrooms, but it's up to you. Some people like in a big old class. It's okay. And then safety. How is it important? This probably goes more in line with where your location is of the university. And how are you able to, how's the university carry on its safety precautions, and do you feel safe while you're at the university? Once again, job placement. Is the university capable of placing you into a position either for an internship while you're studying, or when you graduate, they're able to possibly, maybe not necessarily place you, but help you, give you training, mock interviewing, all that type of stuff can come into play. Networking sessions, once again, that kind of goes into your mock interviews and how they can help network you with companies for your internship. And you always want a return of investment. You guys are going to be spending some money going to some universities, so it's important that that the university kind of invest in you, and that they're able to help you along. So the return of investment. Once again, what is the earning potential that I may have within this program? Do I really want, am I an engineer, but I don't like math? Then you're probably not going to be an engineer. It'd be more difficult. So you may want to choose something else. So be thinking of those type of situations.
Okay, transferring to another institution. We come across many students that consider them transfer students. Those students they start at a different institution in the US and then transfer to a different institution in the US. So you could be from a community college transferring to a four-year university, or it could be a four-year university you're transferring to a doctoral or a master's granting institution. Sometimes, life happens, right? What if you lose funding and now you no longer can afford the university aid that you came? How far have you gone in the program that you want to transfer to a different campus? Will all my classes transfer over? You can absolutely transfer institutions in the United States. And as three of us professionals in the field, we work with students who transfer every semester. And you as an international student needs to make sure that you do all your research and find out what's the best fit, find out will my classes, my credits, my courses will transfer over to the degree plan, and make sure to ask yourself, is this necessary? Can I complete the program at this institution? And always remember, transferring institutions can be costly. I mean, if it is at a different state, you're looking at moving expenses, and maybe you if you took 60 credits and maybe all 60 is not going to transfer over, so you may actually add more semesters in completing. Now, if you're transferring from sister institutions like University of Houston system or California system, sometimes, courses do transfer, but again, the most important factor should be how my classes transfer over to the degree program.
Do we want to do a poll or do we want to do internships?
You can do a poll.
Okay.
I think my poll screen is locked, so. When do you plan to start your schooling? Next available, oh, there you go. Next available semester, within a year, next year, not sure.
We know people graduate at different times. So the typical year starts in August for our institution. So that's going to be our first year. So if it's August 2021, or you can start January. So January, August, I know are the typical start dates for the US institutions. Looks like half and half. 21, 22.
Yep, it's always good to be planning ahead. So those that are talking about for 2022, that's good.
We're good planners. I like those.
All right. Next year, 2022, seems to be it.
Okay. Internships. Ludmila, you want to talk about internships?
Yeah. So one of the important areas for me as an international student, and then now as a director for international programs, is making sure that our international students do have real world experience, real work experience. And I've been pushing internships, co-op programs, and working with faculty and deans, ensuring that our curriculum programs do have a component for internships. Because I used to work for a career center at a very large institution, and we would bring thousands, actually literally 1,000 companies to our campus, and we would have job fairs. And about 90% of the employers that told us is they are looking for students with at least 1 to 2 internships by the time they graduate. And so think about internships. And now you're at the stage of researching institutions. This is something that we hope that you actually go further and research about internships. Go to the academic field website, go to the career services website at these universities and look for internships. And now one of the things that institutions have adapted is virtual internships, because everything is virtual. Virtual internship means we have companies, organizations that actually wants to hire our students to do virtual internships in 78, 90, 100 countries all over the world. So these are things that you do want to look into and keep in mind for internships. You are legally able to work in internships. International office or your immigration advisor will assist you in that capacity, but just check for those internships, because internships is a key factor in gaining those skills, those experience that you need to put it in your resume when you are looking for jobs after graduation.
All right, so some things to think about. What am I looking for? What do I want to get out of this? That's going to be very important. Do I know what it takes to start from finish? Class requirements, application requirements, etc. Services that are important. That slide mentioned a lot of services. So which ones are going to be important to me and what am I going to pay for them? There is a commitment for a 4-year degree. We don't want you to just say, I can afford 1 year, because then you're going to afford 1 year and walk away without your degree. So it's going to be really important to be able to afford all of it. Have I done the research Research like it's your job in planning to go away for college because it's a major decision for you. Taking loans, can I pay them back in time? I love this question. Will the field I am studying bring me joy? Is this for you or is this to do for someone else? Because, I understand if mom and dad want you to be able to be that engineer, but if you don't love it, who's going to be working as the engineer? Not mom and dad, but you are. That's going to be really important. So it's really important that you do this for you. Am I thinking about graduate studies, pursuing further? A lot of you said 6 years. So yes, graduate studies, it's excellent. And then is this realistic? What am I going to do if my visa denied? What's my backup plan? Am I going to start online? Am I going to study everywhere else? So just some things to be able to think about.
And I do want to add for what Katie said about the field. And I know many international students, just from my personal experience, I came to do what my parents wanted me to do, and it was speech pathology. Interesting. The second year is when I decided, okay, I need to take ownership of what I like, and I changed to what I'm doing today. So just be true to yourself and then really find out what your passion is. And if you don't know your passion, or if you're somebody like me who actually changed, that's fine too, because at the end of the day, you need to love in what you're doing and what you're getting your academics in.
Yeah, I've yet to see an international student and their parents, uh, not agree with their student if they're failing in engineering and they're proclaiming they're just not an engineer, tell them to keep doing engineering. I've yet to see that. They normally will say, okay, we understand. What do you like to do now? Type situation. They'd rather you be passing and doing very successful than you failing and trying to fulfill their dream. So. All right, preparing to study in the U.S. This is I would say, pretty big on the high list there for you to be thinking about before you come traveling over to the United States. There's a lot that has to go into place, and you actually do a lot more than we'll say most Americans do before they have to go into before they go into their university. So we want to prepare you for that. We want to equip you for what you need to do. So within the application, obviously you got to apply. And most of this is done online. So you'll go online, you'll apply. There could be sometimes the fees associated as you're applying. How many institutions are you going to apply towards? 5, 10, 15, 20? How many are you wanting to do? I always recommend that 5 is a good number. 10, if you're really, really unsure and you really want to get a good broad perspective. But I would say at least 5, and that way you get, because you may not get accepted to everything, and some universities may not accept you, or some may have a waiting list or some stuff like that. So look at what is required. Just don't assume, okay, I'm going to go to this school but you don't have what they're needing, right? You're not meeting their requirements. So GPA is obviously going to be very important for you and for us as universities to determine your admissibility. Test scores, SAT, ACT, GRE, GMAT, if you're looking at the graduate studies, personal statements, recommendation letters, or in interviews. So some universities may not require all that. Some universities may require some of that, but be prepared that this could be asked for admissibility. Some universities require down payment. So once you've been accepted, there could be a down payment. We're looking to, when you're getting your immigration documents, there's a yearly fund that's being placed on your document, and some universities may want a percentage of that, be placed towards your tuition. And that goes along with down payments, your deposits, all that stuff. You need to be, once you've found like your university and you're looking at it financially, is that a fit for you? We've talked about this, talking about your finances. You're going to be required to provide that financial document. Who's ever supporting you, the universities are going to want some sort of financial document even before possibly either you get accepted or before we issue any sort of immigration document. So also, I was talking about waiting lists, acceptance rates. I would have loved to gone to Harvard or Yale, but their acceptance rate probably was not in for me, or I'd be on a waiting list and all that stuff. So be looking at, yeah, I'd really love to go to that school, but you could be on a waiting list. In tuition, obviously, if money is no option, apply to wherever you want and hopefully you get in. But for the majority of us, tuition and the cost and the affordability for us to go to that particular school is going to be very important. So you do need to look at, can I afford to go to that school? So emails are always important. Obviously, in the world today, you can do Zooming, virtual one-on-one experiences with us as we're helping you come along through the application process. But emails is important, and we're going to probably be emailing you. So if you may be like, I'm beyond emails, I'm into social media, that's great. But we're probably going to be emailing you kind of your admission requirements, your acceptance, all this type of stuff. So be cautious of, okay, I might need an email. And then like we were talking about, online virtual orientations are becoming quite the norm. So be prepared for that. Enrolling before you show up or enrolling upon arrival online. So be cautious of that.
Okay. Do's and the don'ts. So this is pretty important. So we are going to talk about a couple of things. I think throughout this presentation, we did talk about these things, but as a recap and a summary, pick the school that meets you. That's definitely a do. Do your due diligence in research. Again, pick the school that fits your price range. Pick a program that meets your requirements, not what you're told. Complete your application in a timely fashion. If you're looking for budgets or funding or scholarships, that is a pretty key requirement. Considering attending college first and then transferring to a university. If you are someone who are thinking about community college and then a four-year campus, you can start researching on the community college and the four-year campus. Look at different housing options, on campus, off campus, meal plans. Can I cut down on the meal plan? I remember I took a 21 meal plans per week and never got up to eat breakfast at all by the time that they closed. So the second week, I switched to 14 meals because I never got up to have breakfast. So those kind of things to think about. Create your sponsor a semester by semester transfer for money. This is pretty important because as we're serving students, and as I've been serving students for the past 20 odd years, one of the things that our students wait till the very last minute is fund transfer. So you need to make sure that not just getting accepted to the university or having that funding for the first semester when you do come to the United States, but you do need to make sure that you let your sponsor know, your family know when the payments are, and just make sure that you're ready and you're prepared. A commitment. Remember, I mean, this is a commitment of 4 or 5 or 6 years, and some of you selected 8 or 10 or 12 years. Again, work on internships and career-related events and items from the very first time that you got into campus. A lot of these universities will actually have some form of a career event incorporated through orientation or other first-year events and activities. Don't pick an institution because your neighbor or your friend or your aunt or your uncle or your cousin is going. Don't pick a major because of others, because somebody's asking you to do so, or it is a fantasy, or that the income potential is pretty high. Don't let others influence you too much. If I can have a quarter or 10 cents every time a student tells me that somebody told me to do this, I probably would be a millionaire today, because that is such a common things our students say. The reason that we all are saying this to you, that means all of us are witnessing how our students are saying how their friends are doing this, so I want to come to here. One of my common phrases is, Ludmi, my senior friend said, And that's how the conversation goes on. Athletic scholarships are competitive, merit scholarships are competitive. Don't assume the scholarships will be granted automatically, and don't assume the visa is granted automatically. Visas are quite difficult in some countries, so don't assume the visas are granted automatically. The last one, US degree is amazing, but it's not an automatic pathway for a job. Any degree is not an automatic pathway for a job. You have to work hard and make sure that you boost your resume and your professional career.
So I'll give our final parting message here. I love that it's all highlighted. You decide what is best for you. It is you. You choose a major and don't choose it based on your income. You do your research and due diligence. You are your own person. Just you can have family, friends, and etc. But just be yourself. Be the best you that you can be. You select that path. Select that institution. Don't do things that you don't want to do because they're not going to bring you joy. You're going to attend college to gain knowledge, life, professional experience. It's not just about the academics. It's about who you connect with, who you network with, who you meet, who's going to be able to provide with for you in those connections going forward. And lastly, have a backup plan. Like Ludmila was saying, the US visa is not granted to everyone, unfortunately. Studying in the US is definitely a privilege. So be able to have that backup plan.
Do you want to do one more poll real quick?
Sure.
Before we move in. Oh, this one's a good one.
What is your biggest concern in studying abroad in the USA? Being away from family, COVID issues, finances, adapting to the school environment. I had a student give me a really good tip. She says she's from, came over here from South Africa, so quite a ways away. And she said, if there's one thing to have pictures, digital pictures on your phone, but there was another thing to be able to have the pictures printed and hanging on your wall because she felt like she was surrounded by family. So she went out and she printed all these pictures of all her family and they were posted up all over her dorm wall. So she was literally surrounded by her family often.
And I like how finances is 82%. And we know this. And the second is, oh, it's a tie. Being away from home and adapting to school environment. Wow.
All that adaptation stuff, resilience.
Okay.
All right, another slide.
Oh, there we go. All right. So I hope you guys kind of had our final moments here, but I hope you guys kind of got a picture of what's important that we feel you guys need to know before you come to the United States. Now we're going to kind of talk just a little bit about each other's universities, and I guess I'll kind of start us off here. I always like to let everybody know where Oklahoma is. Some people assume Oklahoma is somewhere in Japan. It kind of has an Oklahoma, as Okinawa, all these type things. Or who knows where we're at, right? So Oklahoma, and this is very simple for you guys because our three schools are literally really kind of close to each other. So we have Oklahoma, and then where Ludmila is at is just right under in the state of Texas. So very simple. This is also very simple. The name of our university is Oklahoma City University. So we are in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is the largest city in the state of Oklahoma. We are a metropolitan university, so we're in the downtown area of the university, or downtown area of Oklahoma City. We've been around for a while. We've been around since 1904, so we're well over 100 years old. So we've been, and we've been at the same location for over 100 years. And so we're very well connected with the state, or within the city of Oklahoma City. We're considered a little bit of a smaller university at 3,000 students. That fluctuates, obviously with COVID, that grows and decreases and grows again. But about 3,000 students. We have 70 plus undergrad programs and 20 plus graduate programs. And we normally average about 43 countries are represented. So you think about 43 countries all around the world, they take part on our university. So very well diverse, representative of the world on our campus. And we typically have, and this also fluctuates, but 200 plus international students typically on our campus. Like I say, we are in the metropolitan area. We are one of the only universities in the metropolitan area that actually has a campus. We're living on dormitories or multiple buildings. So we are one of the few that are right there in the metropolitan area. Speaking of ratings, we're always listed in the U.S. News and World Reports, which is quite a privilege for us as a private institution that we do get these listed. Recently, we were listed as a hidden gem. That basically means for the total cost for what is being offered, the quality of education, everything combined in one particular university, we were listed. So, and then this gets kind of important. We were talking about how jobs and how we can place students in jobs and all that type of situation. We're at 92% job placement rate. And this is an average, I don't know, of the past decade of how we've been able to place our students. And so we're at 92%, which is good. There's multiple averages that we've seen, that I've seen. I've seen even between some universities nationwide at 42% being able to place their students or their graduate students. So and then I've seen some more other different types of percentage. But if you think about that, and you're going to hear about our universities and our the abilities to place students, think about like the national average is well below at 92%. This is just a quick little snapshot of what we're able to do. So we do have scholarships, and they are very specific towards the international students. And the great thing about our scholarships is that they are based strictly just off your GPA. So SAT is not a requirement. TOEFL is required of getting admitted, or your English proficiency test would be a requirement to get admitted, but not necessarily a requirement for getting a scholarship. So this will help you as if you're performing well in high school or your national exam at the very end. These are scholarships, and so we start about 9,000 up to 13,000, and this is for everybody. So we don't have like a set amount. So we only have like 5 scholarships. We can give that to you. No. So anybody that has a good GPA can get into this scholarship. And we also have talent and athletic. And talent, I mean musical or theater or acting or any of that type of talent, which is the university within multiple programs is ranked. Some of our niche programs like the music, theater, dance, and programs like that are typically very high ranked as far as nationally ranked. So some campus highlights. We are very affordable on campus living. We've kind of talked about look at where you're going in the U.S. If many universities, and not to get onto them any, but if you go to the East Coast or West Coast, the housing to live there is super expensive. And so one of the great things is that you can live in a big city. Oklahoma City is not humongous, but you can live in a city, you can live on campus, and it's affordable for you. Just some highlights. We have over 20 international student programs that are available. We have cafeteria and food courts and food kiosk areas. And one of the great things about us, because we're in the metropolitan area, the districts around us, one of the biggest district is the Asian district. And then we also have a Hispanic district next to us. So you'll be able to find your foods that you normally find within your home country. You can go and you can shop till you drop, and buy whatever you like. And like I said, we are in the downtown area. So that gives us very well connected to big corporations in the downtowns. For your admissions purposes, and I'll be quick, online application, no ACT or SAT is required. No need to mail us your documents. Everything can be online. Scan, send it to us, and attach it to your application. For some of our graduate students, GMAT or GRE is not a requirement. And then we could actually do, if you contact us, we could possibly work on an application waiver fee. Program highlights, like I was talking about, a lot of our programs are very high ranked. Internships are embedded in with some of our programs. We have a smaller class size, and the importance of that is that you get connected with your professor. You get that one-on-one connection. You're not just a number that a professor may call out and ask for an answer. They'll actually know your name. And along with that, they can help you get that internship. They can help you beyond actually your graduation because they get to know you. And then our professors are either PhDs or at their highest level within their degree. You're going to get the best technology available within like your labs or tech work, or if you're doing mass communications or in the business fields, all those, you'll have the best technology there. And then we also have availability for undergraduate and graduate research. So feel free, come to our booth. We're there now. And so you can come and talk to us, look at what we offer, our programs we offer, and then we'll be glad to talk with you.
Okay, so for Oral Roberts University, we do have, I put 120 countries, but it got announced today we had one extra, so we have 121 countries represented on campus and all 50 states. So we are very culturally diverse on campus. 4,100 students, and about 20% of those are internationals. That's one of the things we focus on, is making sure that we go out into every man's world and just be able to experience, for the students to be able to experience, honestly, university in the US on ORU's campus, and then go back out to their other country. Our top 5 countries are Nigeria, China, Brazil, South Korea, and India. And you can see our top 5 majors with business admin, engineering, psychology, nursing, biology. And biology is usually neck and neck with ministry and leadership for that. All right, next slide. I'm gonna go through this kind of quickly since we're running behind. So one of the things that we are proud of, besides our graduation rate, which means they either have a job after they graduate or they're in graduate studies, we're at 99% right now. With our College of Business, they take a field test at the end. 94% scored over 100,000 other students. This is going to be really important for those business majors that you're going into, that this field test is going to be able to show you that our business students are very well educated and ready to be out in their career field. Next slide. And so one of our major programs, when we talk about scholarships, one of our major programs is called our Quest Whole Leader Scholarship Program. Because while you do get a merit scholarship, we believe that you are more than just that gray matter between your ears. We focus on mind, body, and spirit with an emphasis on leadership, that we want to know what else has gone on in your life. How do you take care of you? How do you take care of your mind? How do you take care of your body? Yes, you do have health fitness classes every semester. How do you take care of your spiritual life? How are you a leader? Not necessarily leading your little brother into trouble, but how are you a leader in all areas, in school, in church, in community? How are you a leader? And so we have, it's a digital written essay that you're going to complete a Quest profile after acceptance in order to have the possibility to have additional scholarship. The easiest way to keep the scholarship, including your merit scholarship, is to just keep your grades up. And so we want to renew them every single year. And most of our students are going to be here on Quest scholarships, because we know that you're on a quest to become a whole leader. And so we want to be able to emphasize that for you. So Ludmila, we'll let you talk about UHV.
Okay, thank you all so much for your patience. I know we are running a little bit of time. I'm going to talk about University of Houston, Victoria. We're actually located in Texas. You can see the little map here if you can. We're close to the Mexican border. We are about 4.5 hours away, and we're in a town called Victoria, Texas. And we are roughly 2 hours away from all the metropolitan cities like Houston, San Antonio, Austin, those big major metropolitan cities. One of the key things about University of Houston Victoria is we are considered the 5th most affordable campus in Texas. So if you know a little bit about Texas, it's quite affordable. And on top of being affordable, we offer scholarships ranging from $3,000 to $12,000 for international students. Now, all students get automatic scholarships once you're admitted. One of the other key unique things about UH Victoria is that we are so unique. We have one-on-one attention to our students. We're a small university, and if you ask me, I know every single international student. And I know what semester they came here. I know what their major is. I know when they're graduating. That's how unique of an institution and how a family of an institution we are. Not only our department, because of our closeness, our community embraces our international students. It's a pretty amazing city to be in, this town in Texas, in Victoria, and then to see embracing our international students in our community. Next slide, please. So some of the programs that we have is our most popular programs among international students is computer science, biomedical, biology, computer info, digital gaming simulation. We actually won a Department of Defense grant for artificial intelligence and creating robots. The interesting part is the robot lab is right next to my office, and the students who are doing the robotics is my international students, and they pull pranks with these robots. And as you can see, I'm not a tech major, and I don't like creatures going around. So they do come to my office and they do so many programming things, and it's pretty amazing. That is one of the highlights for me, is to see that our students are building this robot from scratch and then doing certain amazing programs and then publishing as early as their senior year in undergrad, and then of course moving as graduate students. This slide is a little bit old. We have 4,900 students from fall 2019. And you can see there's the scholarship. Our faculty student ratio is 18:1. Next slide, please. I'm going to quickly go over some of the things. One of the things unique for our universities, we do not require any testing. No testing whatsoever. No GRE, no SATs, no ACTs. For TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, you can request a waiver. Our scholarships are absolutely not based on any of the testing. We understand you as an international student, you focus on your national exams because you have to do national exams. And you take SATs and GRE either concurrently or maybe later. And some students don't have good SAT scores, so we have eliminated all sort of test scores, and our scholarships are based on how you have performed back home in your national exam or whatever the exam that you're coming in from your countries. And then these other things like personal statement, a resume, our merit scholarship, which is the highest dollar amount scholarship, actually looks for these three requirements. Every graduate student that is coming for a STEM field at our university so far has secured a graduate assistantship. And it's pretty amazing because just like I mentioned, we are IT, robotics, AI heavy. So students do have graduate teaching assistantship positions at our university. Our deadlines are what you see in the screen. We do extend deadlines, but if you are seeking scholarships like the merit scholarship, you do need to apply by June 15th. And on-campus employment, internships are pretty common at our university.
Thank you all so much for this presentation. We're just going to be sliding right into the next one. So this is your outro slide. You can contact them at these links here, and you can also check them out at their booth. I hope everyone has a great rest of the fair. And thank you so much. This was great. Bye.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.